Welcome to One Girl at a Time, a podcast for girls, by girls, with girls. I'm Hajid.
And I'm Umaima, and we are here today to spotlight on the power that girls have.
We appreciate everyone for taking the time to listen to our podcast today.
For our very first episode, we are going to talk about who we are, what Junior Mu Delta Alpha stands for, and what we represent.
But first, let's get into our mini segment, Our World at a Glance.
During this mini segment, we will be talking about the events that are happening around the world so that our listeners can stay educated and informed, because knowledge is power.
What do you want to talk about today, Umaima?
I think we should talk about the presidential election.
The presidential election? This is our world at a glance, not our U.S. at a glance. That's not world news.
It actually is. You'd be surprised. The United States presidential election actually has a lot of influence on foreign policies and relationships. An example would be that we have a lot of military bases in other countries. Some examples would be Germany, Japan, South Korea, and Malaysia.
That's interesting. I guess with that being said, for the 2020 presidential election, we had the largest voter turnout in history, which is like amazing. So like powerful too. Like there were 80 million Democrats that voted and 70 million Republicans. That's like a lot of people if you really think about it.
You're right. It is pretty cool. A lot of the young voters came through and encouraged others to vote and really put out their opinions. For example, there were people who couldn't even vote that encouraged others on social medias to vote, like on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, myself, and like a lot of my friends on social media, we encourage people to vote on our Instagrams. We would constantly repost. We'd be like, please vote. Even though we couldn't, we knew that we could at least try our best to make a difference by encouraging other people to vote. And everyone has this, like a lot of people had this mindset of, oh, I'm one person, my vote might not make a difference. It really doesn't matter. But in the end, like if you really look at the numbers now, a lot of it really mattered. Like those mail-in ballots mattered. That one person did make a difference. So it's thanks to us young people that encourage people to vote.
Definitely. And because of that large turnout of American voters, in results, Joe Biden won the election along with his vice president, Kamala Harris, which is really cool.
It's so groundbreaking because Kamala Harris is now the first female, Black, South Asian vice president. It's crazy because we've never had a Black vice president before. We've never had a South Asian vice president before. And we've definitely never had a female vice president before.
Talk about representation, yeah.
For real, exactly. They're set to be inaugurated on January 20th, 2 days after my birthday, so I'm really excited.
That must be like a little mini birthday present, I guess.
I guess so. The current president is not conceding, and he continues to claim fraud, which is really dangerous.
It is serious. Because of this, Joe Biden's team will not be able to move in and kind of take over and get prepared for the next month.
Yeah, so it really is unprecedented. But in the Constitution, it says once January 20th hits, we are getting a new president. So if our current president fails to leave the White House by his own will, I believe he will be escorted out by the military, which is quite embarrassing. I would just pack my bags and leave, to be honest. With that being said, let's move on to the next topic, us. My name, as y'all know, is Hajar. My last name is Abdul Qadir. I am currently a sophomore, 10th grade. It's been a crazy year. I'm 15 years old, turning 16 in January. I really enjoy watching Netflix. I always have my phone on Do Not Disturb because of that, and was like, oh, pick up your phone, please. My favorite K-dramas are Crash Landing on You. I really enjoy watching K-dramas, and my favorite ones are Crash Landing on You. That was like a top hit this year, and also It's Okay to Not Be Okay. Those are my favorite K-dramas. They really like actually made me cry. It was crazy. And then my other hobbies are I really love baking, and my friends are always like, "Oh my gosh, she considers baking therapy," which is so funny to me. I always laugh when they say that to me. And I really also enjoy photography as like a side hobby. And that's all about it for now.
Okay, my name is Umayma Masi. I am 16, turning 17 in March. I have a lot of interests, but my main hobbies are everything art, food because I like baking and cooking too. I agree, it is therapeutic, and I like fashion, so I enjoy watching like runways and kind of looking on websites on different designers and kind of seeing what kind of designs that they've come up with this season. So that's a little bit about me.
In the future, we both actually like talked about this a bunch of times before. We both aspire to be doctors. I feel like you guys listening might relate. Being a doctor is like a really good thing because not only does it make I believe a good amount of money, it also like helps people, and it's a career that you can like take anywhere in the world. And even if you don't do it for the money, you're still like making a difference in the world by helping people.
I agree, and I find science so fascinating. So to be able to not only help people and also like go on a journey of learning about different things, I feel like that's like the perfect, career for me. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure you all are wondering more about our podcast. We are a branch from a leadership academy for girls called Junior Mu Delta Alpha, where we encourage girls to be more confident, help them learn more about
Leadership.
being part of a sisterhood, and encourage them to be the best that they can be.
And Junior Mu Delta Alpha is a leadership academy that helps girls reach to their full potential.
There's a lot of things we do in Junior Mu Delta Alpha. One of the things we do is we hold an annual yearly summit. It's a really exciting experience where we have different guest speakers from different backgrounds that share their stories and empower the young girls that come to our summit. One of the biggest speakers that we've had so far in the past years was the first Muslim Congresswoman, Ilhan Omar.
Speaking of Congresswomen in Congress, speaking of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, we actually got to meet her on our trip to DC earlier this year.
I remember that trip. It was a week before we went straight into lockdown. It was like the craziest time ever.
It really was.
We were able to sit down in Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's office actually and talk to her, and she really did share some great words of wisdom with us. And after that, she also gave us passes to the House chamber floor, so we got to go there and sit down. Before we got to even enter there, we had to like take off our jackets and like remove our phones and like nothing, like no backpacks. You are only allowed to bring yourself in there. And we sat there for almost 2 hours because we were supposed to go for remember it was like a hearing that was going to be at 11:30, and it was, I believe, for a COVID stimulus.
Yes,
like that was right when it hit. But it kept getting delayed and delayed, and we sat there for 2 hours
Just waiting.
Like, oh
yeah.
my gosh. But it was still like a really nice experience to like see it. Like it's still so cool. Like even if there was no hearing, it was so cool. Like they had like faces like carved into the walls, and like it was all velvet, and it was so nice.
It was truly a memorable experience for us because we got to not only hang out with our colleagues, and we also got to see around DC, and we also went to a museum, which was super fun.
Yeah, the African American Museum of History. It was like so cool as well. It was like really like touching, like seeing that history too. It was like it started all the way from the bottom, like the beginning, early years of slavery and stuff, and like it also like almost made some of us cry. Like it was just so like you felt it in your heart, like you felt like, imagine I went through that pain. I would not be like, you know what I mean.
Seeing those pictures and those stories being told really did like helped you get a picture of what really happened and kind of what they were going through at that time. And it was truly sad, but we're so grateful to be able to have that experience, to go to that museum and kind of see like the history. So yeah, it was a really truly memorable experience.
That was that was actually my first and only trip as of now. Hopefully in the future, once we are over with this pandemic, we might be able to go on another trip for Junior Mu Delta Alpha. In the past years, they have gone to New York, which is also very cool. If you guys want to find out more about Junior Mu Delta Alpha, visit our website, www.mudeltaalpha.org, or visit the Instagram page at Junior Mu Delta Alpha.
This platform was created for girls to kind of encourage everyone to speak on their issues. Us girls, as young girls, we tend to be under pressure because of our peers, magazines, and etc. So we want to be that platform that kind of pushes through all that and encourages girls to speak out because girls have such diverse voices.
One Girl at a Time was inspired by the support of girls and women in our lives who believed in us and helped us create this platform. We wanted to share our story. We wanted to use this platform to share our stories and really connect with other girls and show them that they have a place in this world and that they have a safe place as well.
Hadra and I want One Girl at a Time podcast to be a platform where inspires girls to be their true selves and kind of speak on their issues. We also want girls to feel needed, important, and safe.
And with that being said, it's Hajer.
And it's Umayma.
Reminding you that you can change the world.
Contact us on our platforms.
You could feel free to shoot us an email at ogatpodcast@mudeltaalpha.org or send us a DM on Instagram at ogatpodcast. I love replying. I love interacting with y'all as well.
And it's fun to see what you guys want from us, so please do.
Yeah, if you have any suggestions, any ideas, if you'd like to feature, we'd love to have you.
And with that concludes our very first episode. Thank you so much for listening. And for our next episode, we're going to have a very special guest, so please stay tuned.